Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach.
I'm Mac.
And I'm Pepper.
And today we're going to talk about 10 games that just missed our top 10 games new to us this year. So we're just going to go through these games pretty quickly, and then you can check out our other video to see what our top 10 of the year that are new to us, not necessarily 2020 releases, or 2022. It is 2022. But yeah, you can check that out. And also we'll be doing a giveaway, and it'll be a game that's on this list for me, and I think it'll be on someone else's top 10 of the year. But we'll get to that when we get to it, so you'll have to stay tuned. But yeah, we can just start off right away. I'll say one of mine that just missed out was Dinogenics. And this is a game that played...
Who even are you? This is a shocker.
Somewhat early in
Number one, the first mentioned, will shock you.
It will shock you. Because this one, we had a few videos on some dinosaur-themed games this year, and Dinogenics was like my top dinosaur game. And it's just, it has a very classic worker placement feel to it. It made me think of other games like Architects of the West Kingdom and Stone Age, which are ones I really love. And it just, I don't know, the 3D nature of building up fences and putting those dinosaurs in those versus like the things that Dinosaur Island and Dinosaur World use, just bring it up to that next level. And it's just one that I really like. And I'm hoping they reprint it so it can become more available. I think that's the only shame about this one, is it's very hard to get, I think. So, yeah. It's one that just missed out.
Alright, well, one that missed out on my top 10 was Crusaders, Thy Will Be Done. This is a great rondel, I guess. I don't even know what else you would call this game.
So, Mancala, maybe?
Okay.
Because you're
Mancala
picking
rondel
up pieces and,
Yeah.
comboed together.
Okay, cool. Well, that one just missed out on my list. It's a great game. I just, I think we played it a few times, and it just kind of, the replayability, I think, wasn't quite there. The rondel, I think, is so cool. It's just with a lot of players and stuff, it was like you couldn't really move too much on the board, and you were kind of trying to get some stuff done, but it was a little bit more difficult at the higher player counts. It's an amazing game. It's a great game, and so it just lost out to some games that I just liked better.
Yeah, since we're not doing this in any order, I'll just jump to that, and I also have Crusaders Thy Will Be Done, just missing out as well. And I've only played this once, and I've just been dying to get it back to the table. Even made an appearance in my top 50 games of all time, but just wasn't able to get back to it. Otherwise, I think it would have definitely made that top 10.
And I'll just make this a three-way crossover for my second one. I do have Crusaders Thy Will Be Done, just missing out. So it's a solid game that I think we all like, but yeah, you haven't played. I think you probably like it the most, but you've played it the least. And I think, yeah, we've probably come to see that with more plays, it kind of seems like you're doing similar things, but they did do an expansion, and it sounded like that was a pretty good one based on the Dice Tower's recommendation, so maybe we'll try that out.
All right. Well, I guess back to me then. My second, I guess they're not in any order.
Like I was not prepared so quickly.
They're not in any order, but the next one that missed out on my list was Barenpark. And so I've only played this one once, and so that's why I didn't quite make it on, just because I didn't know if I could really justify it. I thought it was a really unique polyomino game, and I like the way the tiles or the gridding can be placed out there, and kind of how you can get those polyominoes and place them and stuff. So I thought that was really cool, just building a park, trying to get your squares full. I'm a sucker for bears too, so polyominoes and bears, like, what is this? So yeah, I just really liked it. It's only come to the table once this year because we've been busy with other things, but it is one like I wanted to get back to the table. So
Yeah, we've been playing, if you've been tuning or staying tuned to our channel, we've been playing through our whole collection A to Z, so we've kind of had a bit of a challenge getting every game played.
One of the first ones to get done, and
then
it's kind of hard to really justify going back when you have so many more to play.
Right.
But yeah, another one is Naga Raja, which is kind of a two-player Bruno Catala game. And this one just has some really unique card play and tile placement that I enjoyed quite a bit, and some really cool kind of stick dice that you roll as well. Solid one. Haven't played it too much, It's a pretty quick one. I wish I had played it more. I think that's probably the theme with a lot of these, is just the ones that didn't quite get played as much were bumped off into this next 10 here.
Yeah, I would agree that's probably what happened to my list as well for a lot of them. And as an example, my next one that didn't quite make the cut was Murano, and that was one we only played once. But I really love this one, and I think it has the potential to probably out of my whole list be the highest overall if I get more plays of it in. But it's just your rondel going around, I think, what is it, Venice? And you're kind of blowing glass, and you're putting tiles out on these islands, and then claiming spaces on different islands to score bonus cards at the end of the game. But things are constantly changing, so you're trying to influence certain islands to get them to be kind of what you want to meet your goals. And I just find that really interesting, the player interaction there. Someone might be trying to do something for themselves, but unintentionally kind of screw you over. And I think that's a lot funner than like someone aggressively coming after another player when it just accidentally happens, and it's like, I can't believe you did that. But it's not like they were ever doing it like in a mean way or anything. So I really like that part about it, where there's a lot of player interaction, but it's not really mean interaction.
All right. Well, my next one is Ark Nova. So we played that one, I think, 2 or 3 times. I thought it was really... it's a long game, and it's a unique game, and I thought that it's still somewhat challenging, to remember the rules and then, like, get back in the groove of, like, oh, yeah, this is what I should be trying to do. So, yeah, just a really kind of unique game. I don't even know where to start with it, because it's, like, everything and nothing all at once and whatever. So, there are just the little pieces of it that I'm kind of like, meh, this game does that better, or that one does this better. It's kind of a culmination of some of those different aspects, and so it's a really great game. It just, like the other ones, it got beat out by games that I liked more.
And we haven't played that one. We haven't really gotten back to that one in a while either. So, and that's probably a tough thing, because it is such a long one, and there is a lot going on, so we'd probably have to relearn the rules. It's a bit intimidating. But
it's really cool. It's really unique.
You're building a park, which is, I think, something a lot of people like the thought of.
I think the card stuff is what I find the most interesting. The actual zoo piece, I'm like, oh.
Oh, really? You have Barenpark, now Ark Nova, both zoo building games.
I don't think I like zoos.
Are we sensing a theme?
Next up, I have a crossover with Zach here, and I actually grouped it with another game, because I always cheat in these lists, always have to have a twofer.
Every time.
So I have Murano as well, for the same reasons, in addition to Heaven and Ale, which both of them I absolutely loved, and just one more play, I think, for both of them would get them into the top 10, and possibly very high in all-time rankings. Heaven and Ale is just... Since you talked about Murano, I'll talk a little bit about that. The tile placement is so satisfying, and just when you do actually score for those, it's so rewarding and so cool to bump up all of your tracks, which seems like it's going to be impossible to do, but then you're able to actually feel like you accomplished a lot throughout the game.
Right, yeah. I'll just say I did not group mine together, but I did have Heaven and Ale on this list too, and yeah, I would say they do feel very similar in that way, where with more plays, they're both potentially going to be in my top 50 or 60 next year, depending on what we do. But yeah, I love that one as well, because there's a lot of these have a rondel aspect to them. There is a rondel piece to it, but well, it's kind of a rondel. It's more of one of those, what is it called, like a ratchet one, because kind of once you go past certain tiles, then you can't go back. And I just really love that, and kind of the different values on the tiles, like you said, activates either getting you kind of up those tracks or other things, depending on the total values.
And then just kind of the way you activate the scoring throughout the game. You can use all these different types, but only once a piece. It's really cool.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right. Well, my next one has fences like a zoo, but for people. Walls of York is one that just missed the cut. It's just really fun to roll the die and try and build your city, get it walled in. while completing the goals for how many buildings you need within your walls. York is like the most historic town in like England, and so it's just fun because like it's totally thematic for that piece of it, because it is the walls of York that's made York this kind of beast of a city back in medieval times. So I don't know, it's just really fun and unique to try and race to get your city.
Yeah. Another one I have here.
I don't want to race something, but okay.
I agree with you. I just didn't think that it would come across as thematic. But
I mean, the dice rolling probably isn't, but
I think that's how they determined it. They're like,
Yeah.
what shape will we build the walls this time?
Are we going to turn here? Nope, we're just going to continue going straight.
That'd be hilarious. I want to see that. Next up, I have the Red Cathedral, which also has kind of a little bit of a rondel type thing. What's that look on your face? Do you think this
I may
is
have
gonna...
forgotten a game.
Uh-oh.
Just gonna group it in with another one later, full of pepper.
For your top 10 or your not top 10?
Yeah, probably would have missed out just because that one is one we only played once as well.
Yeah, just a really satisfying kind of dice placement, rondel action selection. It's really satisfying and really rewarding. And it's a smaller game and decently quick, but there's just a lot of depth, even though it is so easy to play and grasp as well. Love it.
Yeah, it's a very approachable game, and yeah, I think the quickness is what makes it kind of stand apart a little bit, because yeah, you can race to the end game, but that might not always mean you win either when you get all the pieces of your pieces that you can build of the cathedral done. Because we were pretty close, and you, I would say, only did about half of yours, and we were like within a few points of each other. So I found that to be really good. But I did not. I forgot about that one, and instead, I've got a solo-only game that I have not played in a little while now, but I did play a few times, which is a little surprising, and that is Coffee Roaster. This is one that's kind of big buildy. You're adding some to the pot, but you're kind of, I don't know, increasing your bag, making it better. Bag cooking game.
Bag manipulation.
Bag manipulation, where you're pulling some coffee beans out and kind of roasting them and trying to raise them high enough to meet kind of a threshold that you're trying to get based on whatever recipe you're trying to do, and then possibly get some colored beans in there as well to get the perfect cup of coffee. And I just find it to be really satisfying. I think it probably could have made my top 10, but like I said, it's been a while since I played it, and yeah, I just wish this one was at least a change into a 2-player game versus having to get like 2 copies to play it with more people. I mean, you could play it back to back, but I think it'd be funner to kind of be able to play it at the same time and compete against another person. But
Okay, is it me again?
I'm just imagining competitive with some take that, like, throw the coffee in the other person's face.
Oh, you guys
while she's playing Ark Nova, she's throwing that coffee.
They have a random coffee cup that you move. Gosh. Well, my next one also has a wall in it.
Oh boy.
The Great Wall.
It is.
We don't even have it yet.
We don't have it yet, Maggie. It's coming.
Hadrian's Wall.
Oh, but now it's got a good chance of being one she likes. Walls of York, Hadrian's Wall, the Great Wall.
Walling in the bears, walling in the elephants.
No. So I've only played this one once, but the triggering or the channel setup or the domino effect in this game, I feel like is really good.
All the bonuses and stuff.
Yeah, you're just like, if you can, it's overwhelming. I will say that it is overwhelming to learn it. There are pieces of the game that I did not touch on my first play, and I likely will not touch them again for a few more plays. But I was so impressed by that bonus triggering. That first game, I was just like, it was really satisfying. It's huge, and it's 2 sheets of paper, but I was like, it was really satisfying to get it going. So.
Yeah.
Solid choice.
I have a feeling that's going to appear on someone else's top 10.
Maybe.
Another one here is Destinies, which another one that we've only played once, but that play kind of blew me away. Just kind of the app integration and interrogation, asking the characters of this world about certain items, and they tell you things that may have to do with your destiny, may have to do with another player's destiny, and you read it out loud, and something may mean nothing to you, but the other player's like, oh, I know what that means. And it's just so cool to see both of everyone's stories kind of tie together in the end, and ours ended in just like, we both got to the end of our destiny at the same time, and it was just really cool how it was intertwined so well.
Yeah, it was really epic. I will agree with that because it is also on my list. And yeah, after we played that, I was like, ooh, there's only however many scenarios. I need to look at all the expansion content and everything that's been made for this because, yeah, it's really solid. It is. We only played it at 2-player. I'm interested to see how the 3-player works, and maybe it would just be too difficult to intertwine 4 stories. And that's the only thing I can think of why it wouldn't be up to a 4-player game. Or maybe it'd be too long, because but otherwise I loved the story of it. It's I kind of feel like it's what I wanted Chronicles of Crime to be, but that didn't give me the same feel as this one. This one, the story really kept me involved in it the whole time, and yeah, it just felt like you were actually interacting with the world.
It's a great open world,
right? Yeah. So awesome game. Look forward to playing it.
I think you're gonna like it, Mac.
All right. Well, back to me again. You guys keep matching up on these. So I guess my next one is Meadow. And I just really like this one. I only played this one time, so that's probably why she lost out. But
and if you've noticed, that's why I wanted to make this list, is because there were all these games that I thought were really great, but we only really got to play a lot of them once based on kind of the challenge that we were doing. So that's why I would say we might not be the best at explaining some of these games, but they were really fun.
So maybe next year we just don't play any new games. We just really
focus on playing all of our games again.
We don't order any new ones. We don't. Meadow is a better version of Quadropolis.
I've already got 20 pre-ordered. That's impossible.
Okay.
Let's not.
How do I hide these?
Oh boy.
The closet's already full.
Yeah, so Meadow is kind of a better version, I think, of Quadropolis. You are getting kind of set collection, I guess it is.
Shots fired.
And you're trying to kind of build this tableau or like your own little meadow, using the different symbols on the cards and some other pieces. And it just has kind of a unique card grabbing system where, you're either taking a row or a column and so many cards in or up or whatever, based on your little pick that you have. So, yeah, just a really, really unique game. I've wanted to get it back to the table. It's just not one we've gotten back. So,
yeah, and kind of the chaining, which is a big part in this game, like the main part of this game, is kind of what you can see in, like, I think of Seven Wonders Duel, where once you get certain cards, you can sometimes or you get future ones for free. And I really love that in games.
Yep. Next, I have Clover, which is spiritual follow-up to Just One, in my mind at least. And I think this one's just as fun for me. I'd put them about equal. I know you prefer Just One, but I still really love just the wordplay with this one and getting thrown 4 pairs of words and having to come up with some hint to bring them together. And sometimes a word comes to your head and you just got to go with it, because you can't think of anything better. And hope the others feel the same way. It's a really cool game.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a solid party game. If you like Just One a lot, definitely look into it. But then I will get into, I think it's my only Stonemaier game on this list, and that is Libertalia, Winds of Galecrest. This is one that was probably one of them that was closest to missing out, because we have played this one quite a few times already, and it's one that I've really loved a lot. It breathed new life into the Libertalia game. I never played the original, but
so we can say that with authority.
I can say that with authority because Jamie told me that that's the case. Even though Tom Vassell, I think, said that it wasn't really that much different, but I'm gonna say it with authority.
Wow. You heard it here
But, yeah.
first.
Yeah, I think with the reputation track, I think it just makes this game work so well, where some cards are really good at certain times depending on where you are, and then other cards can be good as well. And sometimes, yeah, some cards are better for you than they are for others, even though you're all using the same hand of cards. So it's just interesting how that plays out and how you have to try to outthink your opponent as to, right now there's one person below me on the reputation track, and this card needs me to be the lowest to get some bonus. Are they going to play this card? Because if they're not, this is the round that I should play it. And it just brings up interesting things like that, and I just find that really fun. And most of the time, I'm wrong with my guesses as to when people are going to play cards, and I end up messed up. And it's fun sometimes where you think you have it figured out, like, oh, this is going to work out this way, it has to, and then someone does something weird, and it's like, well, I did not think of that. And the component quality in this is great, and we got the upgraded doubloons, which make the game probably twice as good.
There's nothing better than that shangle.
And
everyone's grabbing to get the big ones. Doubloons.
that's what I always go for.
Yeah.
One big one. That's all I end up having left by the end of the round.
Well, my next one doesn't use money. It uses buttons.
Ooh, boy.
So Patchwork is one that I played one time, but I was really impressed with the rondelle and the polyomino shape of it, and kind of just putting together your quilt, which I thought was so fun. Not really a crafty person per se, but that theme is fun. I think it's kind of nice when you kind of get these out of the woodwork ones where it's not like another like fantasy or like space one. It's like, no, you're putting together a quilt. And it's like, yes!
Much more exciting.
It's not exciting, but it's a nice and refreshing theme compared to like Pioneer games and
Pioneer games.
to quote
I'll go trade the quilt in the Mediterranean.
to quote your mother. So I just really liked it. I think it's a great two-player game, and I can see it being one that we would pull out as like a filler or something to play, from time to time. So.
Yeah. My next one is Project Elite, which is pretty much go run around and shoot up some aliens, hordes of aliens, and you're on the clock. It's a real-time dice rolling game, and that theme just comes across so perfectly. It's exactly what it sets out to be. One of the most unique games I played this year, I would say, and probably one of the most surprising games, just like based on the title and cover. I know you kind of feel the same way. It's the gameplay is not reflected in the cover, and I think that's a great thing. Awesome game.
I would say that one was my second most surprising game this year, and I liked that one quite a bit, but it didn't quite make the list for me. But I did enjoy it a lot more than I would have guessed from the look of the cover and the name. So yes. But then if you've made it this far in the video, I'm going to finally say the game that we're going to be giving away.
Oh boy.
And it's this next one on my list, and that is Marvel United. So this is one that I've been looking, since I'm a big Marvel fan. Oh, wow, Pepper, trying to prove he's a bigger Marvel fan.
That's right.
Well, both of us, all three of us are. I don't know if you were looking for a Marvel-themed game, Mackie, but
I can't say
Pepper and I were.
it was on my list.
And I think it was kind of between this one and Marvel Champions, and we ended up getting this one, and I don't know, this one might actually be more surprising to me than Project Elite, because I thought this might be a little too light, and it's not that it isn't light, but it has more to it than I originally thought it would, and it was just a really, really fun experience. It's snappy and quick, which makes it so much better, and I just love the cooperative nature of it as well. It makes for a solid game to probably teach new people to gaming, especially if they do like the Marvel theme. I think we made the right choice. But now it has me really interested in all the other content for it.
We made the wrong choice.
We did make the wrong choice of not backing, right? Because there are a lot of different characters, and as much as I love the characters in this box, I think there's at least a few that I would really like. I think I'd want to get the Thor ones probably at some point for sure. But it's a solid game.
Oh boy. All right. Well, my next one is Super Mega Lucky Box, and this one just was kind of a unique. It's like a bingo style, like flip and right type of one. I just find the challenge of choosing which one you cross off or when you use your lightning bolts, just kind of the simplicity of it all. Just it's fun, it's quick, it's not like overly difficult, but it's kind of like a refreshing, like bonus triggering kind of one. So probably not like overly complicated, hard, or astounding in anything that it does, but I think the title, the colors, all the gimmick of it is really nice. And so we played this one quite a few times, and yeah, it's one I would recommend if you're looking for a decent filler game or one that's more approachable for newer gamers. So.
Yeah, I feel like kind of the bonuses in Flip and Right, Roll and Right, they are just trying to be more and more clever nowadays, and this one feels like a nice kind of step back and just a little simpler filler game. And I think it does that really well.
Yeah, and it does nothing beats crossing off one of the numbers in the middle, and you're like, double bonus! Yeah!
I never did that experience.
Aww.
I actually filled all my cards one of the games we played, but I didn't even win.
Poor boy.
I was like, wow, I feel satisfied, but then didn't end up winning.
You were super mega, but you weren't lucky.
I was not lucky that day.
I have a crossover here with one of you two, and you thought this was going to be in my top 10 of the year, I think, but it is not. It just got bumped out, and that is Marvel United.
Oh my gosh.
Now he's gonna argue that I'm not the biggest Marvel fan.
Well, now you're lucky you're wearing that shirt. Otherwise, oof, I would have really started debating.
Now, boys.
I do really love this game, and all the worries of it possibly being too simple went out the window with that first play. It does have just enough clever things to it while still being so approachable. And I even really love the solo mode where you just literally combine 3 characters' decks into one deck and use the cards from that. It's like, I don't see that in a lot of solo games, especially like cooperative. Usually it's controlling a few different characters, and it's like you just change the game completely by combining it into one deck. I don't know, I just thought that was really cool and surprising for me. Not as interesting for you guys, you don't play solo, but that's something I have really enjoyed.
Not yet. If he buys a $200 backing of it, then he will be playing solo.
Wow. Wow, it surprised me considering I've seen you the last 100 nights straight playing the solo. Huh?
Really?
Not quite 100.
I've seen him playing it quite a few times, yeah. It does surprise me a little bit. I wouldn't have thought it would be your top, but I would have thought it would have been at least in your bottom half. That's pretty surprising. But yes, then we get to mine, and this one's one that I've only played once, and neither of you have actually played it, and that is Praga, Caput, Regni. And this is one that I really wish to get back to. I mean, there's a lot of them on here that I just wish you had so much extra time to play these games again and again, but yeah, I had a really great experience with this one. It's kind of an action selection with a dial going and kind of making actions that don't get used more and more valuable as they go along. And it's got a decent amount going on the board, but the action piece of it is relatively simple. There's not, I think it was like 5 that you could choose from. It's been a little while since I've played it. But the actions themselves seem simple enough, and you could get bonuses to make that action for you a little bit stronger, and then you're kind of trying to build out your own little area as well and kind of match up sides to get bonuses, and I really love that as well. So some tiles will be worth a lot more to you than it is to other people, and yeah, I just found it really, really fun, and I hope to play it some more. And it's got some nice fancy eggs as well. I'm surprised I can't pull you guys in with those, but I suppose we have Wingspan for that as well.
That's true, that's true.
Surprised you haven't tried to sneak it into the Wingspan eggs to trick us.
You guys thought we were playing Wingspan?
Slowly
no!
Start playing
Praga! Caput, Regni!
Just a few components at a time, and before you know it, we're not even playing Wingspan anymore.
That'd be hard to believe because Praga takes up like the whole table, so. You'd have to be real sneaky.
It's true.
Uh-huh.
I could probably fit it in a new Wingspan nesting box, though.
Well, there you go. All right, my next one is Picture Perfect. And I think we played this one 2 times, maybe. I have anyway, played it 2 times. And I just thought it's really cool, like, you know, try and figure out the puzzle of, like, where you put people based on the information you know, and kind of create the best picture possible. It's kind of like a abstract thinking kind of, but at the same time not really type of a game, and I just thought it was really unique and fun, and I enjoyed the puzzle of trying to figure out, like, okay, she wants to be here but not by this person, so that means that she's got to be in this spot, but this person wants to be by her and she can't be up that far, and it's like, which one do you sacrifice, because you don't know what could come up next. So it's a great game.
It's a really cool one.
Yeah, if you've played Clue before, I think this does a lot of the similar things, but does it so much better. And I love the scoring on it, where you can try to place someone that you don't know anything about, but if you don't get anything right about it, you're going to lose some points.
And if someone has, God forbid, doubled that scoring, you're going to lose a lot of points.
Right. So, yeah, it's a really fun game.
Yeah. The next one is one that's been on your top 50 list for 2 years, but it's a new game to me, and that is Coimbra. Just the whole use of dice in this game. I've only played it once, so you might need to help me here, but you draft the dice, which let you buy the cards, draft the cards as well, and you also use them for production. Based on their color as well. And is there something else you use them for as well? I forget.
I don't think
I feel like there's 3 parts, but
yeah, you're drafting.
I might be grouping them together.
You're drafting the dice, I think, pretty much to activate that production later on based on where you are on those. And then you're using those dice, obviously, as well to actually draft the spaces. And then you'll... Yeah, based on which ones you're bidding on, you'll pay either coins or the shields, I think, to buy the cards. And those cards bump up your tracks. So you kind of want to combo some good stuff together. But
it's a really satisfying first play for me. Just track movement, so awesome. And I do like kind of the scoring for the tracks is a little different from other games. Instead of just like first and second. To score that second place, you actually have to be within a certain range of the first place. It's not like, oh, I got 1, I'm qualified. You actually have to work for that. Moving out on the board, just as satisfying. The cards are awesome and rewarding as well. I do wish there was, maybe there's an expansion, I don't know, but I do wish there was more variety in cards, because you do pretty much go through all of them. You do use all of them in every game, and especially for scoring cards, I feel like that could get samey, but... Like I said, only played it once, so I've got some mileage out of it still.
Nice. Well, we got coming up on my last game here, has not been mentioned, and that is...
I think it's going to be a crossover.
Dog Park. It's one of our newest ones. Is a Kickstarter that recently delivered, and much like the Marvel theme, I've been looking for a dog-themed game, and once I saw this one hit Kickstarter, and it kind of had mentioned that
I just wish they made a Puppy Avengers game.
It might be coming. But, yeah, once I saw that it kind of maybe had some, I don't know if similarities to Wingspan is the correct way to say it, but where every card was going to be different, have different breeds of dogs, kind of like all the different bird cards, so you weren't going to have duplicates, and then each one kind of has an action that they can do as well, or else like endgame scoring, potentially. And we've played this one 2 or 3 times, and I've really enjoyed the plays of this one. It brings up some interesting decisions, and I think the more we play it, the more we'll utilize like moving dogs out of the kennel to kind of or take ones from the available pool and do a little more manipulation like that, because I think that's where you'll get even more points and more interesting things. I think right away that was a little intimidating, so we didn't really do that too much, but with more plays I think I'll do that. And I just really love the dog theme.
It is. I'm sad you didn't back whatever was needed to get our dog in the game.
That would have been pretty spendy.
Mutt. I don't think there's a card for a mutt.
There is not.
Poor
And sadly,
Cookie.
there's not, surprisingly, because Cookie does look like a pretty average dog.
Mm-hmm.
There's not one that quite looks just like her.
No,
so.
there's like 5 of them
Surprising.
that look like her or have like a expression that she does,
Yes.
and it's like Cookie.
I notice I'm probably just like staring off over there.
I know.
And Cookie is laying right over there. So cute.
How many times can we say her name before she gets up? Let's not test it. My last one is terrible. It is so much chaos. I love it. It's Colt Express.
Oh.
We played it quite a few times this year, and then we actually even put it in our tournament, and it's chaos. Like, I don't even know how to describe. Like, there is no strategy for this game. You just try. Try hard. Maybe if you know what's happening, you could maybe guess, but it all depends on what you get in your hand of cards, too. You might be screwed. So
I've been known to just punch at the air.
Yep, exactly. And we haven't played with like the more advanced pieces on the card where I think like it'll move the train around or whatever. Or maybe we did once, but we didn't for the tournament. So yeah, it's just fun. It's chaos. It is not your standard board game. I don't even know what to call it, but it was unique, and I didn't expect to like it, but it was good. So.
Yeah, probably my favorite experience with that game was not even playing it. It was just at the tournament we had 2 tables going, and it was like the last game of the night. So a pretty long day of gaming, and the other table was just going crazy playing that game, just making shooting sound effects with their noise.
Yeah.
Classic cowboy voices.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. They were enjoying themselves.
They were. You gotta have fun with it. That's
true.
the whole point of the game.
That's
You can't walk
definitely a
in there.
group-dependent game.
Yeah.
For
That's
sure.
true.
You can't walk in there and expect to fully understand or know how that's gonna work out. You've got to have fun with it.
There's going to be a little bit of randomness in there.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's chaos. And probably the least chaotic game on my list is Furnace. Just
Very well organized game.
pure engine building. I think this is the engine building game that feels by far the most like I'm building an engine. You play this card, which is going to get you this, which is going to go into this card to get you this, to go into that card and get that, and hopefully some points along the way as well. And the bidding in this game, that's super satisfying, and still not even the best part of the game, because the best part is the bidding, which is amazing. You can bid to win a card with your numbered discs, but then everyone who loses that bid gets like a resource compensation multiplied by the value of their disc. So if you bid your highest disc there, everyone else is free to go like just one below that and 4 times that benefit, and that's just so rewarding and so satisfying. Sad I haven't played this one in a long time, because this would easily be top 10.
Ooh. We'll have to play it after this, maybe. Maybe.
Have you played it?
Yeah, it's actually like one of 2 games where I actually like a bidding mechanism. Furnace and Nidavellir are the only 2 games that I can think of where the bidding is not terrible.
Not terrible. Wow. Okay. But yeah, those are 10 games that didn't quite make our top 10 new to us games of 2022. And like I said, we'll be giving away a copy of Marvel United. You can check out our channel. We'll probably have a video describing more details on that.
Yep.
We'll probably bring it up again in our actual top 10 videos, so stay tuned for that. Otherwise, we hope to see you on that video. And as always, don't forget to
Keep on nibbling.
on our content.